Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me today. How the hookup culture broke them. Women have actually now. I know this is going to. You're going to say to yourself, "Oh, this is shocking." Everybody, shocking. Women have come around, and now they agree with men. Yes, the hookup culture is bad. Men have been saying this now for years, and of course, the women shame guys, and they say, "Ah, who hurt you?" And you're just an incel, and nobody loves you, and you're too ugly, too short, too bald, too fat, whatever it is. Well, come to find out now, women are kind of like, yeah, I think guys were actually right. We women are all sleeping with the top 10 or 20% of men. We're getting passed around like a doobie at a Fish concert. This isn't going so well for us. And so we now are going to start saying no because we want more out of this. Ultimately, women are now agreeing with the guys that say, stop sleeping with everybody. You're messing yourselves up. You're all chasing after the same guys. Come back to reality and get to know a guy for him being him. Now, of course, women say this when they're talking to a reporter from the New York Post. However, I'd bet you $1 million that any of these women, if they're out on a night with their friends sitting in a bar and Henry Cavill strolls up and sits down next to them and chats them up for 30 minutes, they're going to be heels up in the back seat of her car in about 15 minutes. So always watch what they do and not what they say. I have a feeling they've met 3 women maybe that say, I'm tapping out of the market, tired of getting used. But in reality, this isn't a common trend. From New York Post, meet the young single women going celibate, but not for the reason you'd expect. It's incredibly hard. Well, the reason is pretty much what you'd expect. They've been used up and passed around, and they're not having a good time with it anymore. Mandana Zargami, 29, spent a good chunk of her 20s being celibate. In fact, she purposely did not sleep with anyone for 4 consecutive years. The Floridian recently told the Post, men have made her decision fairly easy because everything is men's faults, you see. According to Zargami's generation of young women, hookup culture aided by dating apps ruined intimacy. Hookup culture doesn't benefit women in any way. It only benefits the man. Yes, we've been telling you this forever. Women wanted to be like men, but they're not. And they said, well, I'm jealous of all these good-looking men sleeping with women, and I got dumped by one, so my feelings are hurt. I'm going to be just like a man, and I'm going to sleep with all the attractive men. And the attractive men said, yep, okay, sounds good to me. And then the men got laid a lot, and the women got laid a lot, and the men moved on to have normal lives, and the women were completely broken. I've done videos on why it's not the same for men and women. I'm not going to do it again. But these women are finding out, hey, I'm not getting anything out of this except used. Yes, we've been telling you that. But again, they never listen, and they never will. We both know this. I'm not here to judge, but at the same time, hooking up ruins the part where when you actually find that person you want to spend the rest of your life with, it takes away from that special, intimate moment that you have with them. I got a button for that.
Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
Yes. It's supposed to be this protected little beautiful flower you give the love of your life, and you share something special and you bond to him. And why these women just do not understand this, only until it's too late. Kayla Caputo, a 29-year-old New Jersey resident, agrees. She's a Jersey girl. I bet she's been celibate for 15 hot minutes. I feel like the hookup culture has ruined dating because it almost feels like it's the end goal. It's like people are so trained now to just ask you to come home with them. It's so bizarre, she admitted to the Post, adding that sleeping with someone you're newly seeing clouds your judgment on how you really feel about the person. You women are the ones enabling this. It's so weird how everybody's trained to just ask us to go home. Men do this because when they ask you to go home, you say yes. And then you know what happens? They get laid. And then you know what happens? They're happy. And then they dump you or stop seeing you after a couple of times, and they go out with the other women that they're dating. Now, ask a regular guy, hey, how's the dating scene for you? Why do you just ask women back to their place? A guy'd say, I haven't been on a date in years. Like, women aren't interested in me, or every time I try to ask a woman out, she says no, or they embarrass me or something like that, blast me on social media. I'm not asking anymore, which is why such a large percentage of young men are not even attempting to date anymore. Zargami is among the slew of Gen Z and millennial women who are fueling America's unprecedented sex recession, and they seem to be fine with it. I have a question. Why are we not doing more stories about the recession that men have gone on? where men have said, I'm not going to date an only fools content creator. I'm not going to date these women because the average BMI now is 30 and the average weight of a 5'4" woman is 175 pounds. Look it up. They're biggins. They're big girls. A lot of guys are not into that. Ask young men, why are they not talking and asking out the entitled young angry women that tell them that men are worthless? We don't do stories about that because it's not empowering when men have a choice. It's only empowering when the women have a choice. That's what's empowering. Across the country, younger single gals are abstaining from the bedroom like never before, not because they're saving themselves for marriage for religious reasons, but because they're fed up with today's bizarre digital dating world and hookup culture. Look, I know I just said this a paragraph ago, but look, if I got on a dating app, just me, looking like me, and I said a couple of funny lines, and then I said, hey, you want to come hook up? Women would tell me to stuff it, F off, and they'd never talk to me again, block, and I'd probably be reported to Tinder, and my profile would get removed. Now you take your tall, handsome, athletic guy, and we did the story on this actually, where a bunch of guys uploaded a fake picture of a model, and they said that he was a criminal and he did inappropriate things to people. Didn't matter. Women were throwing their numbers and their panties at him almost immediately within literally 4 or 5 seconds. Like he'd say WYD, which is what you doing? Waiting to hear from you, blah, blah. He's like, I'm in town 3 days. Want to hook up? Here's my number. 4 lines, and the guy's got it. Those are the people that are the women are chasing after. And the women are saying yes to those guys. And then when they're all burnt out and broken and sad and they've ruined themselves and they have a high body count, then they're like, men are pigs. This culture exists because women allow it. If every woman out there said, no, I need flowers and I need dinner and I need to get to know you, men would change because men would say, I guess I gotta be in the game, man. So men would only choose the top women because they're not going to waste their time. You know, a 9 guy is not going to waste his time dining and wooing a 6 or a 7, and it would fix the market. But free punani is what's broken the market, where guys are just like, well, this is easy. I'll just swipe. Yeah, I'll get my rocks off and then I'll move on with life. That woman falls in love. He was like, yeah, it was a Tuesday, and the whole dating market screwed up because of it. Remember the purity pledges co-opted by Miley Cyrus, the Jonas Brothers, Demi Lovato, and more in the early aughts? They're back with a twist, as Purity Pledge 2.0 with supporting from high-profile celebs like Lenny Kravitz and Khloe Kardashian, and word is spreading. I have a feeling that, like Miley Cyrus, she may have taken a purity pledge. She was pure for like 43 seconds until she stepped backstage. So it was a lot of pledges and a lot of not doing. Besides that, it's Hollywood. I'm pretty sure every one of these young people had a producer trying to hook up with them. I mean, it's Hollywood after all. After experiencing one too many failed situationships, there it is. She did it to herself. She hooked up with guys. She got in a bunch of situationships. She realized the guys are just hitting it and quitting it. I'm tired of this. You did it to yourself. Situationships, a slang term used to describe an undefined romantic relationship, Zargami grew tired of the emotional, immature, non-committal men she kept attracting and knew she needed to make a drastic change in her romantic life. New York Post, phrasing. She got into situationships. She got tired of the emotionally immature, non-committal men that she kept getting into situationships with. It's your own fault. You just kept sleeping with men, and after you slept with them and you got the fee-fees and you fell in love and they bounced and didn't return your call and ghosted you because they have better options, you did it to yourself. You burnt yourself out. Celibacy seems to be the answer. Oh, shocking. Let's go back to the way things were, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Oh, it was better. It was better when men told us to keep it in our pants, and we actually did. Shocking. As much as you want to blame the other species, you also have to take accountability for why you're allowing certain people into your life. That is key. And why you're okay with letting people basically walk all over you, she told the Post in her decision. Okay, maybe she does get it. Yes, it is you that allowed these people in your life. It is you that allowed these people in your pants. To get a romantic life back on track, she committed to taking a solid year of no swiping on dating apps, 0 dates, and resisting the urge to even look in a cute guy's direction. This is correct. This is the way to do it. So, as a matter of fact, there's so many of these dating apps you see, especially, and as a matter of fact, we're going to do a dating profile here at the end of this. I'm going to do a dating profile because it shows perfectly. Women are like, I'm 5 months pregnant looking for my next boyfriend. What are you doing? Like, take some time, take care of your child, maybe assess what you've done wrong in life and fix your brain wiring and bring yourself back into reality. But no, they hop from person to person to person because that's their validation that they're still a pretty desirable woman. And they're so insecure that if they don't have that constant validation, they fall apart. That's why so many women do not take time by themselves and immediately fall into something else. The first 6 months to a year was so incredibly hard because I think as humans, we thrive on that connection with another person, that intimacy, the emotional vulnerability. But then 1 year turned to 2, which turned into 3, which turned into 4 years. I made that promise to myself. Until I'm in a committed relationship, I want to be celibate. I can appreciate this. Now, I don't know what her body count is before she decided to do this, but you know something? After 3 or 4 years of healing and becoming a whole person again, I think she's at least on a better track. That's why young men are doing much better than women in many cases, because they never get into relationships in the first place. They're hanging out with their friends, they're trying to focus on job, career, getting some money, getting their lives together. Men don't have the distraction of women. So when women don't have the distraction of these dating apps that they fly through like it's a social media account, they will probably be better off. After breaking her 4-year streak last year with someone who ultimately wasn't worth it. I did not read this full article all the way through, by the way, because I like to keep my reactions at least genuine and honest. So she went 4 years celibate, and then she got with a bad boy. She slept with somebody who ultimately wasn't worth it. I thought you were waiting until you were in a good, solid, committed relationship. Let's see. Now, she's 29 now, and she was in another relationship, and she said she held off for 4 years. That means she started at 25. She must have gone through a lot of bodies at 25 to make her be like, you know, this isn't it, y'all. I'm getting worn out. She's one of many women in her age group who are openly discussing their celibate journey and encouraging others to do the same. Let's hear what she has to say about the topic. This should be interesting. I'll listen to the whole thing. I'll just save the highlights for you guys.
One of the biggest takeaways for me was that not many people have much to offer other than sex. You cannot stimulate my brain. You cannot stimulate anything else. That's how it works. If there's no emotional connection, it is not going to be good. A lot of people are always like, oh, but like, who cares? It's just sex. It's just sex. It's the most intimate thing that you could possibly do with just anybody.
I do think she's being accurate. And yes, it is the most important thing you can do with somebody. But she says you can't get anything emotionally stimulated, or you can't get anything stimulated until you're emotionally stimulated. That's not true. That's not true for men, nor is it true for women. Dudes can see a very hot woman and be like, hell yeah. And women do the same thing too. Women, again, this is why I say watch what they do, not what they say, because she says all this and she gets a bunch of likes and a bunch of affirmation from other weirdos on TikTok. And then she goes out and sees a hot guy and says, I definitely want him to stick his emotion in my chakra and make me feel something. We know that's how these women do this.
Also exploring different hobbies, different things that you want to do. Interests, trying new things, learning a new language, doing pottery, paint.
Okay, yeah, legit. Like doing hobbies and things and activities with somebody that you care about is a great way to have connection. That's a great way to fall in love. That's a great way to have connection. That does not make a woman hot for you. If she was totally into pottery and your first date, you're like, hey, we're going to go out for pottery, and she watches you, I don't know, rubbing on a pot, it's not going to do it. Now, if you're an incredibly hot guy with a bunch of muscles and tall and dark hair and beautiful, then she's totally going to find it hot. If you look like Danny DeVito last Wednesday, she is, no matter how many things you have in common. There's always a truth to this, that women today, since they're independent, they make their own money, they've got their own lives going on, they don't need a man for anything but looks. All of this boils down to looks. Average guy that likes to do hobbies with her, boring. Henry Cavill or, some other hot, tall, muscular guy that likes to do activities with her. Oh, it's hot. I really want. What she's trying to do is weed out the hot guys that are going to use her from the hot guys that want to be with her. That's all she's trying to do. And she apparently failed at that.
People hurt people. If you are jumping from one person to another, to another, to another, you are not doing any healing. You are just transferring whatever trauma, things that you have going on to the next person, to the next person.
Hey, okay, so maybe she has some base takes. Maybe this is one that gets it. To get a man's perspective on this, therapist and licensed marriage and family therapist Daniel Leibowitz weighed in, telling the Post, as a general rule, the idea of a chase is not what really gets men going. It's what's behind the chase. Someone who knows their own value and makes someone really show interest in them is indicating that you are interacting with, the person you're interacting with is picky, but is choosing you. Yes, why is this new news? Men like to feel special or unique, and if he is the lucky one who gets her into the bedroom, it's an indication that he's seen as worthy or valued. Right. So a woman that values herself and doesn't sleep with everybody and then chooses that man, she's passing her value to him. She's saying, I value myself and I value you so much that I want to be with you. The problem is these women have learned to lie about their body counts. There's so many articles and posts on Reddit and other places where women are like, I told him the truth about my body count and he ran. I guess I should have lied. So the problem is women aren't, not all women, and plenty of women are not learning to value themselves, not to give themselves out to anybody or everybody. They're valuing the lie. They're realizing I can't keep a guy if I tell him the truth. So I'll just lie to him. I'll make him wait. As a matter of fact, there was a couple girls on whatever podcast that in several of their different shows where women are like, oh, I'll give it to just the regular guy that I want to hook up with, but the guy I really like, I make him wait. And I forget the host's name. I think it's Brian. And Brian's like, okay, that's like me standing in line at McDonald's and they're giving out free cheeseburgers. And I get up there and they say, for you, that's going to be $1,000. He's going to, and the girl said, yeah, that's not fair. And he's like, exactly. So what they're doing is they're not really keeping themselves for marriage. They're not really keeping themselves for a guy they value. They're pretending to while they cheapen themselves. In the meantime, there was if you remember on Reddit, there was a site called Female Dating. One of the r/ was Female Dating Strategies. There were women posting on there that they literally had a guy that they really loved and they wanted to be in a long-term relationship with him. And they were making him wait. But in the meantime, they were hooking up with other guys because that was meaningless sex. But the guy she really liked and wanted to be with long-term, she was making him wait. I did a video on this like 5 years ago now. This is common trend. So do we really believe this woman is making these guys wait? Maybe. It sounds like she's learned. Maybe she's one of the few that have actually realized, yeah, guys were kind of right about this. You give yourself away to everybody, you have no value. But I don't think the vast majority of women are thinking like this. I've seen several friends who also became celibate. They're just giving into this tribe and water these friendships and relationships instead of wasting energy, money, and time on some Tinder dates. Women are not wasting money on Tinder dates. They expect the man to pay. We know this. Maybe she's talking about makeup and the time it takes to put their makeup on in the mirror. Aside from no longer stressing about whether a date's going to text her after spending the night with him, a complaint of many single women today, because you choose losers that only want to hook up with you, that is your fault. She says she's experienced another unexpected perk of celibacy. I've learned so much about myself, about relationships, how it works, and how I feel about the whole thing. It's really useful when I meet another person because my intuition got stronger. So every time I meet someone, I kind of immediately sense what their intentions are. Well, congratulations. I've been, like I said in the beginning of this, I've been doing this 7 years. For 7 years, men have been saying, at least you guys on the channel and other men here have been saying, stop doing this. You're giving bonus to the winners. You're giving bonus to the players. You're giving bonus to the good-looking gym bros who are tall, who don't have to develop. Now, it doesn't mean they haven't. I'm not saying that tall gym bros don't have a good personality, but you don't have to work on your personality nearly as much when you're an attractive person. You know, when I was kind of in the dating scene doing my thing, you have to be funny and you have to be engaging and you have to know when to pull back and seem disinterested so you're not too try hard. it's a very interesting game you have to learn how to play with interactions with people. When you're a good-looking guy, you can just stand there and women will fall all over themselves to talk to you. And the same is reversed. When you're a beautiful woman, guys just come up to you and want to hook up with you. And if you're not so conventionally attractive, you have to be funny. You have to be interesting. You have to have creative ways to make a guy interested. You have to be alluring, right? It's always harder when you don't have the looks. These women have given it all to the great-looking guys. The guys are like, I do not have to put any effort into her, the relationship. I don't have to, all I just have to do is say, what you doing at 3 a.m.? And she comes over. And so women have trained the men to treat them like nothing. Then you see these TikTok videos and these other viral videos of women saying, oh, he was great, he was wonderful, he was loving, he was sweet, he was boring. He didn't, like, I knew what he was all about, he was boring. But this other guy that won't text me back and he won't call me and I see him out with other women, he's got so many other options. That's the man I want to be with. You women have done it to yourselves. I think it is a good thing that some women have found out, okay, I got this wrong. I'm going to learn from this. I want to fix my life and come back and try to have a normal relationship. I think that's great, but it's not very many of them. And usually by the time they figure this out, they're 35 with cats and nobody wants them anymore. For fun, here's a great example of why so many men are single, why men have chosen not to hook up, why men are just leaving dating apps, and why they're not asking anybody else. We have a dating profile of the day here. This is Chrissy. She's 32. Now, looks kind of decent. If you're a guy just swiping through and you see Chrissy 32, and she's also interested in fishing. Yeah, you might swipe to match with her because men don't really look at what the women say because men just care about their looks. And also the odds of the woman reaching out to them is like 1 in 14 billion. Listen to this, though. I just want you to listen. This is why doesn't New York Post do stories about men? Because this is what men are encountering. It's not the hit it and quit it women. Men would love hit it and quit it women. Men are encountering this. Read this. I'm a recovering substance addict. Oh, fucking well, I've had 6 kids. 2 were adopted. How are you getting to adopt children when you already have 4? My youngest is a 5-month-old. 6 kids, who wants to just add water and become stepdaddy? Not me. And she says, and trust me, I damn well don't look like I've had 6. Well, because you haven't had 6. You've had 4 and you adopted 2. I bet you look like you've had 4. I work 3 jobs that I love, by the way, and that won't change. Where are your kids? Where are your kids if you're working 3 jobs? Now, don't get me wrong. If she's not on the government dime, I'm all for that. But who's watching your kid? You know what? I bet she's near family, hopefully, and maybe her mother is watching the kids. Family's watching the kids so she can work, and she probably works under the table and gets the government dime anyway. But good on her for keeping them. Good on her at least for maybe having family members watch her kids. I have a pit bull that is a spoiled bitch, and her attitude obviously matches mine. That's what you want to do, guys. Date a recovering woman with 6 kids and a pit bull that hangs out with the family. Good luck to that 5-year-old. That's all I'm going to say. If you're married and are going through a divorce, no hookups or D-pics. F off with all that. But usually when a woman says no hookups, do you know what that means? She's telling you no hookups because when she actually gets in the situation where she might want to hook up, you're supposed to say, oh, that's right, you said no hookups. I'm not going to even make a move. This is the type of woman that if you make a move, you're going to get a hookup. You know how I know? 6 children. 6 children. I also only have my bottom front row teeth. Any questions? Talk to me. She only has her bottom teeth. I have a lot of questions, but none of them I would want to ask her. There's some life choices made. So mother of 6 smoked so much meth that she lost her teeth. That's great. Wow. Hey, Billy, why aren't you on dating apps? Why don't you have a girlfriend? Why aren't you in the dating market anymore? This is why. Come on, guys, don't stay single. Well, maybe a couple of girls have gotten it, but not before the damage is done. The body counts are in, and they realize they've messed up their lives, but too little, too late. So even if she says, even if they're going on this journey now, it doesn't matter. They'll be off the journey. The damage is already done. Some unlucky guy is going to make this a wife someday. F in chat for that poor guy. F in chat. Guys, if you like my work, make sure to join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com, or for those of you on YouTube, at least get over to Rumble. The channel is Odd Man Out, because I also do news stories over there. Anyway, come on over, join us. Great community of like-minded guys. You can sign up for free. Doesn't cost you anything. You can check out the forums, check out the topics we're talking about, and you can see the live streams that I've done in the past. And then if you say, hey, you know something, I kind of like this, I dig this, I want to be a part of this community where I can post and share things and join some of the live streams that I do for supporters only, it's $5 a month, which is literally less than a crappy cup of coffee from Starbucks. So come on over, join us today. I think you'll appreciate it. Enjoy the members only live streams that I do. It's a good time. It's a good community. So come on over, check it out, and you won't regret it.